here with our first regular meeting of April. First of all, we would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Robinson Superior Treaty Territory and that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and the Métis. Can we have approval of the agenda? I know we have one add-on that I know of. We'll put it under the committee, the whole department report. Number 10, Director of Operation report. Hearing none other, any disclosures of interest? Seeing no disclosures of interest, there's no delegations. Start by minutes of the previous meeting. Resolution 77-22, moved by Councillor Stefuric, seconded by Councillor Morrow, that the minutes of the Council and Committee of the Whole meeting held March 22nd, 2022 be accepted as circulated. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 78-22, moved by Councillor Stefuric, seconded by Councillor McGrath, that Resolution 54-22 be rescinded in its entirety. All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 79-22, moved by Councillor Sales, seconded by Councillor Stefuric, that Council accept the quotation from Strongco in the amount of $283,950 plus applicable taxes for the purchase of a Volvo L90H loader. Discussion?
Which machine are we talking about here exactly?
The Volvo the one from Strongco, the Volvo L90H loader.
That's the machine that's most readily available? Is that the one?
No. No, this machine would be November or December?
Around November, hopefully by November. The Brant would be available by
end of April.
End of April. And the updated pricing as of today is right now in this report.
So I guess the price went up on this John Deere. What, 10,000 by what, $8,500?
Yeah, the one that we were originally quoted on has sold. This is a different machine, so there was a manufacturer's price increase April 1, so it has gone up. So you're looking at roughly $10,000 more for this machine, but delivery at the end of this month.
was of the impression that the other machine was available sooner, or am I mixed up on that?
No, you would be mixed up on that, Doug, because the soonest the Volvo was going to be available was always November.
Right.
So I guess the question is, are we willing to roll the dice that nothing's gonna happen to the existing machine?
What are the other options then?
Well, we spend an extra $8,500 or $10,000 and get the one that's here sooner rather than later. That's the one option. Or
So there is an option.
there are options, yeah. There's an option here. I think, Tammy, you said that if we sold the sold the existing loader sooner rather than later, it might be worth more money.
Well, there's always that chance. I mean, we know that it's in good operation right
Yeah.
now. There'll be less hours on the motor.
Yeah.
And I mean, those are all selling features, right?
So the machine we have now is not, it's not near default, is that what you're saying?
The machine we have now, under the workload that we currently put that machine under,
Right.
it's only a matter of time before we have catastrophic failure. It's wearing out quickly. But if somebody else were to buy that machine that, can just work it every other weekend or in a snowstorm when they're plowing their little yard,
Right.
I mean, it could last them forever. Because
Right.
it's not facing the same workload that we demand of it. So we will get, I'm confident we will get a decent dollar if we try and sell it independently
Right,
through gov deals.
yeah.
Okay, well, on the resolution here, if there's no more discussion on it, then we'll, all those in favor? You're in favor of the Strongco then, the Volvo?
Well, wait, yeah,
That's the one that's
Delivering
later
November.
rather than sooner. So, you're gonna say,
well, if I thought, if I thought we're not having a problem with what we have, then certainly I would go along with that,
Okay, so all those in favor of the Volvo L90H loader that is available in November? All those opposed?
well.
Carried. What resolution was that?
7922.
Resolution 80-22, moved by Councillor McGrath, seconded by Councillor Stefuric, that the Council of the Township of Schreiber support Resolution 9-5-2022 of the Town of Mono with respect to calling on the federal government to provide greater support to Ukraine in their fight against the invasion of their sovereign territory by Russia. All those in favor, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried.
It's all my relatives.
Yeah.
Resolution 81-22, moved by Councillor Stefuric, seconded by Councillor Sales. That council approve the attendance of D. Stefuric at the Thunder Bay District Municipal League Annual General Meeting held March 26, 2022 via Zoom, and that expenses be paid as per township policy. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. So we'll move on to accounts for payment. Resolution 81. No, we just did that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
82.
82, sorry. Resolution 82-22, moved by Councillor Stefuric, seconded by Councillor McGrath, that checks issued on the general bank account in the month of March 2022 in the amount of $417,921.95 for general accounts payable be approved and ratified. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. One pagers. Resolution 83-22, moved by Councillor Stefuric, second by Councillor Sales, that bank debits issued on the general bank account in the month of March 2022 in the amount of $55,570.53 for payroll be approved and ratified. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 84-22, moved by Councillor Morrow, second by Councillor McGrath, that council adopt the Township of Schreiber Asset Management Plan as prepared by Public Sector Digest. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Other business? Resolution 85-22, moved by Councillor Sales, seconded by Councillor Stefuric, that bylaw 18-2022, being a bylaw to amend Schreiber Cemetery bylaw 3-2015, Schedule E, Schreiber Cemetery contract for purchase of internment rights and services or inurnment rights and services, and Schedule F, request for installation of memorial, be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. So now we'll move on to our committee of the committee of the whole portion of the meeting. Department reports. So first up is the status update on the Director of Operations report. I see that this, I was going to say the Slinky, I see the sidewalk
Trackless machine, yeah.
trackless has been in Mr. Payne's for the last 2 days, getting the brakes done.
Yeah,
And that's why the sidewalks weren't done yesterday. And hopefully it's out tomorrow. And that's good, and I see that in the report, so.
yeah.
I see they were out patching some potholes today too, which is great.
I was doing that too.
Pardon me?
I was doing that too.
You were doing that too, eh? Well, 'tis the
We just got
season.
The shipment of the new product and the cold mix just came in this week, so.
It's coming in or did?
It should have arrived today.
Oh, perfect.
So they had a little bit left from last year, which they were thawing out in the shop, and then the new load arrived today, so we should be in good shape to carry on.
Perfect. And there was another thing that is there any way you can get 3 or 4 garbage cans out there for the dog walkers? And well, that, not just them, but
Yes, currently they're buried in a snowbank, but we've been watching to see it melt and find the corners of the garbage cans. So we will
yeah,
start.
it looks like somebody moved the snow there today.
Good, okay. So he was busy today.
Pardon me?
He was busy today.
Every day.
Yeah, for sure. So just further to the status report, I got an update from Aqua as far as the adverse water quality goes for the byproducts. They have turned the pre-chlorination down at the plant, so that has helped the numbers a lot. So as you can see in your report, when you add chlorine to water that hasn't been cleaned yet, you start building byproducts, which they lowered the parameters for that, so we exceeded that number last month. But they have turned the chlorine down, and the results were favorable. So the running average chart now is well within the allowed numbers. The decrease in chlorine will continue until an acceptable range is found. So just to clarify, they still chlorinate, they're just not pre-chlorinating the dirty water as it comes in. Once it goes through the filtration and the coagulation and all that kind of stuff, then they chlorinate again, and that's what goes into the distribution. So it's, I mean, the water has always been safe. It was just the byproducts that it was exceeding the numbers.
Okay.
So why weren't they doing that as soon as the reservoir was live?
Because they say the contact time is, the reservoir is part of the contact time. So when they do their CT calculations, the loop is not long enough to give the required contact time. So the time in the reservoir is part of that contact time. So they, in order to meet the necessary contact time, they were required to pre-chlorinate, but now that we've made some improvements in the plant, they were able to start turning that down. And we also got the new drinking water license issued in October, So they have lowered the parameters that we require. We were requiring 1.54 chlorine residual at the first user. They've removed that now. So that gives us some leeway to lower our chlorine usage.
So there must be cost savings there then?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, there will be, for sure. Yeah, as we can use less chlorine, it definitely will lower the cost.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, second report, Director of Operations report on the raw water flow meter.
There's a recommendation here from the Director of Operations that council accept the quote from Aqua in the amount of $5,311.36 for the purchase of a magnetic raw water flow meter. As you know, the treated flow meter ended up breaking down in November 2021. This other raw flow meter is 20 years old and at a similar lifespan. So we want to be ready in case that this does end up failing and have something in stock. And of course there's two phases involved in this project. So this is just to purchase the flow meter. Installation will be followed up in a second phase.
What's involved in changing that one, Nathan?
We'll let Tammy answer that question.
That one will involve a confined entry. It is under the chlorination building. We will not have to have a boil water. The reservoir will sustain the town for the
Okay.
duration of that repair. The whole plant is dependent on this raw water flow meter. It's the
Yeah.
meter that tells how much coagulant and chemical to use.
Yeah, and it takes a while to, there's not a lot of them laying around to, buy in a store.
Right, there's a 6 to 8 week delivery
Yeah.
on it, so if it does go down, it would literally shut our plant down for the 8 weeks
Yeah.
while we wait for the flow meter. So this is just being proactive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had this discussion where we changed out the other one, on the raw.
That was before me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so no problem with that.
Okay.
So how often does this meter have to be replaced, or?
Well, it's 20 years old now,
Yeah,
and the last, the one on the treated side failed being 20 years old. So we're anticipating the end of the life on the raw side.
right.
We're not gonna have to worry about the next one, Doug, me and you.
I agree with that.
Or I'm not, anyway.
I agree with that.
Never know.
Number 3, bylaw enforcement officer report and a review of the property standards bylaw.
There's a recommendation that the council of the Township of Schreiber enact a bylaw to repeal and replace bylaw 758 as amended, being a bylaw to provide for the minimum standards of maintenance and occupancy within the township. Part of the recommendations here from this report, again, is that our existing property standards bylaw is quite outdated, and in order to properly enforce property standards, we need this new one passed. As you know, part of it there, it does require a property standards committee. My recommendation is that we just have council take on the role of that committee, just how we have council taking on the role of the committee of adjustment.
I got no problem with that. Bring it forward.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, number 4, senior program coordinator report, senior center special grant. Have we seen the chair?
You can see the chair there, you can certainly test it. The recommendation here is that the council of Township of Schreiber accept the quote to purchase 240 chairs from Global Industrial in the amount of $21,915.93 including applicable taxes, or $19,394.63 excluding applicable taxes. Part of the main decision really for going with that chair, we had staff also test it out. We know that it's comfortable. And the other components is that the plastic surface makes it easy to clean. It's very light, it's stackable. It seems to be of sturdy construction. We looked at the reviews, it has good reviews. And certainly we wanted to check all of that because, you know, this is a $20,000 chair investment.
And that was the first chair you tried out either?
No,
You tried others?
we
and
tried
this-
others.
And this was
Yes.
a good fit for the community.
So if I'm reading this right, 240 chairs is costing the township $1,915. The senior center got the grant of 20,000. Way to go.
Yeah.
Good work.
So what happens to all the other chairs?
They're going to be, let Tammy take that.
There, you'll actually see a recommendation at your next council meeting. There is a bunch of round tables, wooden round tables that have been replaced. We have the plastic ones at the rec hall now. The wooden ones are being stored at Public Works Storage Garage. So we'll surplus the folding chairs that we currently use for outdoor events. And we'll take the old chairs from the rec hall and use those for the outdoor events. So we'll surplus the folding chairs and the wooden tables that are no longer being used.
So they'll likely be put in storage, but usable for whenever.
That's right. The chairs from the rec hall will be put in storage and used for outdoor events.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Okay, and number 5, fire chief report. Bunker gear.
The recommendation from the fire chief that the Township of Schreiber authorize the purchase of the 2022 bunker gear from AJ Stone in the amount of $8,280 plus applicable taxes.
This is a yearly thing, so.
It's a budgeted item.
Yeah, it's a yearly, so we can come forward with that. Number 6, Occupational Health and Safety Committee meeting minutes. Anybody got any questions on that?
Tell me that management is working on finalizing the fire safety plans and as well as the workplace violence and harassment policy. We're anticipating to get those plans updated as soon as possible.
Okay. Number 7, Schreiber Public Library Board meeting minutes.
Any questions?
They hire a new librarian here?
Interviews are ongoing.
Okay.
Lots of interest?
Yes.
Yes?
Well, it's down to a couple candidates. They're on their second round of interviews. I'm assuming we will know by the end of the month.
Okay. Hearing no other questions, we'll move on to the number 8, the Aqua 2021 annual summary report for the Schreiber wastewater treatment plant.
So there was the bagger system, they're it's being worked on, Tammy, and there was something in here, they were gonna try something different, a new.
Geotubes.
And how does that differ?
Geotubes is, it's a different setup, and the tubes are much longer than what the bags are, and it's a different dewatering system.
Right,
So, it's easily adapted to the existing system, it just gets rid of that obsolete bagger that's there now. So, Aqua is, installing it at their expense as, on a trial basis to see how it
Okay.
works, and, then we can proceed from there.
so it could be more, so it will be more efficient then.
Yes, yeah.
How far along are they with it, or are they?
You know what, I'm not sure
Okay.
to be honest.
Yeah, sure.
I haven't checked on that in a little while.
Anything else jump out at anybody in that?
The only thing that I'll highlight in this report for you was the high organics in the effluent. That is due to us not chlorinating in the winter months as per the ministry. So those numbers will get better as we move forward to the UV disinfection rather than chlorinating during the summer months. So we are having a meeting with Aqua and the design engineers to discuss that in the very near future. The other thing that Aqua is struggling to control is the pH levels. So that's due to the process in the treatment plant, the water treatment plant, and by the time it gets to the sewage with all the other chemicals, the pH gets, it's not in the targeted range. It's not far off, but they are working at bringing it down to the targeted range.
Tammy, what you just previously described to that, is that like that shows up like annually?
The, what's that, sorry, the organics?
Right.
Yeah, this report is an annual report, so
Is
they
that-
combine.
That's something that happens at this time of year? or-
Yes,
Right.
yeah, during the winter months when we're not chlorinating,
Yeah,
that's when the organics are elevated.
right. Okay.
Which is, you know, just to clarify, it's not a terrible thing, it's the same kind of organics that's coming into the plant, the water gets treated.
Right.
We get clean water, and then by the time we contaminate it, you know, through the sewer process, then it, you know, it just has the organics in it again.
Sure.
Okay, thanks for that, Tammy. Number 9, the OPP Township the quarterly reports, 2021 second, third, and fourth quarters. Any questions on them?
Not much of a change, over the year, last year compared to, still pretty safe place to live.
I'd say so.
Actually, it looks, I think, a little bit better than 2021, year before, so.
Okay, and number 10, I guess we don't have to deal with the Director of Operations report. Okay, question period.
No questions.
No questions. Okay, we'll move right into communications. And we got the number 3 there. We got the compliance results. We're all good.
You know that number 1, we're gonna be putting out a housing survey online shortly. Dominic and myself had worked on that, so we'll be surveying the residents to get an idea of what the housing needs are within the community here. Was number 2. I just attended the meeting for, they had a webinar for the IESO long-term RFP. I had a conversation also with Oxford Power, just to stay in the loop. And I'll let council know if there's any developments, but the process that Oxford Power is going to be going through is not through this bid process. He stated that he's going through the unsolicited bid process, so it's going to be a bit different from this.
What's the difference? Can you explain?
The difference, yeah, the difference really is that this process again is looking for anyone to produce again energy that can be sold to the IESO. The challenge though is they are looking for putting out a request for qualifications, so people will have to prove that they're qualified, and they're going to have to essentially put a bid submission in, and they have a fast-tracked bid submission period where they would be approving contracts by the end of this year, and a long-term bid submission process, and that would be approving contracts by October next year. The only thing is, in my conversations with Oxford Power, he suggested that the period that they're willing to purchase energy from, it's like 5 years, and in his mind that is going to make a lot of these projects really unfeasible. So that's mainly why he's not too keen on going through this process and sticking with his unsolicited bid process. So the only thing, the difference between unsolicited and the solicited bid process really is that if you're unsolicited, you kind of have to keep on having the conversation, and it's kind of like treated, I guess, on a case-by-case basis, while as this opens the door for everyone to put in a submission.
Okay. Anything else there, guys? Hearing nothing. We'll move on to unfinished business. There's nothing under there. Other business. The AMO 2022 Annual General Meeting and Conference.
Meeting is in August, from August 14th to the 17th in Ottawa.
You're going?
I'll go. I don't work then.
Ottawa.
I'm not working then either.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm working.
You're working?
Yeah.
Nathan's going. What did we book, Cecile?
We booked 3 rooms.
3, eh? So one more?
You what?
I can step back. We don't have to know tonight, but
Yeah.
if you're interested, let Cecile know. I mean, we booked 3 rooms anyway, or Cecile booked 3 rooms, so we're covered that way.
The early bird registration. When was that in? Since the
Okay, that's pretty well what we needed to know there, right?
Yep, just need to know who's attending to
Okay,
do the registration.
So,
so you can do one under Dave, one under Nathan, and one under, I don't know, if you do it under me, Doug, Dan, don't matter. And then somebody will go. So 2 are good registrations, and 1 you might have to change. Like mine, or like whoever you do the
Easier to
3rd one
register
under.
Who's actually going.
Eh?
Be easier to register who's actually going
Okay.
instead of having to change everything after the fact.
I think part of the registration, right, is they want a name and
Yeah, and then
title.
and then you have to choose your packages which are
Yep.
attending and,
I believe they print out like a little card and all, so it explains who you are, so we'll say like counselor and all of that, so.
Oh, why doesn't it say when you have to register to get that thing, the early bird thing?
I'm just gonna check here.
And I guess three of you maybe want to discuss, maybe determine it at least by the end of the week? What time would you need to submit this, by?
Early bird is on until Friday, May the
Friday?
13th.
Oh, okay.
So your next regular meeting? Yes, we'd have to know by the May the 10th meeting.
Okay.
So we can put it back on that agenda for May the 10th?
Sure.
Okay.
Or if you can check your schedules to see.
Okay, April meeting schedule.
We have a NOMA meeting, NOMA conference coming up from the 27th to the 29th. Our next meeting in April is on the 26th. So we'll likely be traveling at that time. So April also has shorter weeks. We're dealing with, again, 2 staff holidays. My recommendation would be that we have a special council meeting on the 22nd, or around there if not everyone wants to do it on the Friday, but that way we'd be able to pass a lot of the council portion matters or anything else that pops up, and it will keep us somewhat close to our regular meeting schedule.
Time do you get off, Doug?
Usually 4:30. Might be able to bail a little early.
I'm good for like not Friday. Saying.
Especially if it's a Friday evening, I know that.
Yeah.
So we're looking,
The 21st or
we can do it on the
20th.
night of the 21st, Thursday night?
21st, Thursday night.
like a regular 6:30 or 7 or.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm okay with. I can do that.
I like that.
Your preference would be though anytime after, because he's at 4:30, right?
Because I never know what I could be at an accident, you know what I mean? So,
Okay, so I'll look at sometime along that time, possibly Thursday. I'll follow up with an email and just let's see if everyone can confirm.
okay.
Yeah, because I think we should try and keep going to
Yeah, there's
somewhat, yeah, for sure.
There's quite a bit of committee of the whole
Yeah.
resolutions. I know we want the property standards bylaw passed too.
Yeah, we
so-
want to keep going with
Yeah.
what we discussed already, yeah.
Okay.
So it's like the 21st instead of the 26th, is that what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we'll be, actually, we're gonna be on the road on the 26th about noon. The conference starts on the 27th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but I got Nathan and me and Dan booked into a meeting at 10 in the morning in Port Francis.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't want to do it on the Monday, the 25th?
We'll have to, the 25th is gonna be
there's
a
some-
bit difficult.
Okay. No, I
believe
just-
that's a payroll
Yeah,
date.
it was
Okay,
Yeah.
I just suggested. Okey-doke.
21st would work, I think. Double check everything. No, it's something's all right.
Yeah, I'll double check but along that time frame, so I think that's what everyone's expecting.
Okay, that should do it for the regular part of the meeting. Resolution 86-22, Moved by Councillor Stafuric, seconded by Councillor Morrow, that the closed meeting resume at this time. All those in favor?